Alright, welcome back to part 2 in making the school desk mini album. I went ahead and just layered my base layer on my box, and I had this beautiful cork paper pad that has been sitting here for, I don't know, a year maybe. And this is what it's called, Special Materials Die Cuts with a View cork paper pad, and it's sticky back. So it's a 12 by 12 and you get 12 sheets, and that was perfect to make this school box mini. And so that's all I did was adhere the sheets to the top side of the box. I'm going to layer it with some paper and add some little elements to it, but I wanted my base layer to be cork, to like mimic a cork board, school memo boards, that kind of thing. So, and plus it was a good use of the paper pad. Alright, continuing on with part 2, we're going to make our inserts for the inside of our box. So you'll need 2 pieces of medium weight chipboard, same as the box, cut at 5 by 7. And then you will need 1 piece cut at 2 by 5. So this is going to be the base of our mini album. You'll also need 2 sheets of cardstock to attach together. I'm using 8.5 by 11 black cardstock in the 120-pound weight that I get from Michael's. We're going to attach these together using our double-sided tape. You guys have seen this being done quite a few times on my channel, but if you're working along with me, this is a good way to catch up because you probably would know this by heart already. So just attach, so to my newbies, attach the 2 ends together to extend that sheet of paper so that we can wrap this chipboard. And I'm going to use some more double-sided tape and add it to the back of my pieces to adhere them down. Okay, you want to make sure that you use, enough tape so that it stays while you're opening and closing the mini album. So, put some of this around that perimeter and strip in the middle. Okay, grab my bone folder, get that a good adhere on there really well. Okay, so I'm going to take this middle piece, but I'm going to line it up with the back line, not this line here. I like my spine, this line that meets, I like it to be right in the center of that spine so that when you fold it, you don't have just a bulk and it's just odd, because you're going to cover up, 9 times out of 10, you're going to cover that spine up with some pattern paper. So I like to, that's where it is, kind of put it, get an eyeball of centering my spine, kind of right there. And then go ahead and layer the other 2 pieces. And what I meant to do with this was add some ATG tape in between, but I can't find it right now, so I'm just going to add some smaller double-sided tape to kind of fill in these gaps. The worst thing is opening up that mini album and hearing that awful crackling opening sound. That means that your chipboard is not adhered to the paper very well. Peel that off. Okay. And then you want to lay this the long way, and I'm sure you've noticed, but this is the 5-inch side. 5-inch and then 7 inches going a long way. So leave a little gap there. Eyeball that. You can measure it by, if you want, putting a piece of chipboard in between. Just to make sure that they're even, but I've been doing this a while and I can kind of eyeball it. I'm sure you can too. Alright, let's get the rest of these pieces off. And we're going to layer this on the other side with the same amount of distance in between the spine and this piece. Approximately. There we go. So then I'm going to take my bone folder and just follow it along, because this is some sturdy cardstock and I just want to give it just a little bit. I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want to rip my paper prematurely, but I'm just giving it a little boost. So now we're going to cut a triangle right where the spine in the front and the spine in the back meets up into the score mark. And this allows, when you fold everything over, it to not be so bulky. Alright. Don't go past the spine, the little score mark that you made, because then you won't, then it'll be a gap when you fold it over. Okay, I'm going to cut off some of this extra on the side so it won't be too much hangover. Alright. And just kind of give it a nice roll over. So you see there's a cross in the roads here. You just want to take your scissors and cut right at that angle. Not going past the score mark. Like right on the score mark. Okay. That's what you should have. Now we're going to get the double-sided tape. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more because I left a big, I should have cut these sides down a little bit, but I'm just going to add a little bit more tape to the edge, or smaller piece, to kind of fill in that gap. That 1-inch tape should have been sufficient, but like I said, didn't leave, I left too much room. So now you just want to, make sure these stick and then take them all off. Alright, that's my last piece. Nicely folded over. Everybody met each other. They're all nice and happy. Alright. So the next thing you'd want to do is just slowly, fold that over. And you should have something that looks like this. Super, super cute. Really neat book. Alright. So now we want to take some, I'm going to use black cardstock again, and then we want to, of course, fill in the middle. So you can do this two ways. As I've stated before, you can cut your piece down to have two pieces, the long way, so you'll use a whole sheet and you'll have a little piece left over. Or you can do two pieces and then use pattern paper to cover up the middle piece. Right? So I'm going to do it in one piece because I don't have my pattern paper out yet. So I'm going to take my cardstock and cut it down to 5. I'm going to take 2 pieces, cut it down to 5. And so this will layer right on top of there. And then I'm going to cut this piece down to layer right on top of there, just a little bit. So it'll be about, I always do this and then I just make a little mark with my thumb print, cut it down. I'll give you the measurement of this in a second. This is a 5.5 piece. So now we just want to adhere these 2 pieces on the inside if you're going to do it this way. Otherwise, cut 2 separate pieces of 5x7, 5x7, and then this piece in the middle to connect it with your pattern paper. So I'm going to do that. I'll be back. Okay, so when you're done, everything should be covered just like that. And again, you can use pattern paper to cover up all of that and you're done. So that's how your book should look. Now, we're going to go ahead and get the flanges together. So you're going to need coordinating cardstock cut at 5 by 3 7/8, 1 at 3 1/8, and then a piece cut at 2 3/8 by 5. Alright. Then you want to grab your scoreboard. And on the opposite side, so the 5-inch side we're not doing. We're not scoring on the 5-inch. We're scoring on the other sides. So take it and score it at 1 on both sides. And this will be for a 6-page mini album. If you need less, all you have to do is cut off the extra flanges and center it. Your spine is 2 inches, which fits 6 pages perfectly. But if you center it, you can either make your spine shorter than the 2x5, or you can just center these flanges and then just have extra space on each side of the spine. So go ahead and fold those over, and then take your scissors. These scissors are so heavy. Let's try these. Take your scissors and cut them at an angle like we've been doing on both sides. So it should look like that. You take your piece, cut it going up on all the sides, from the score mark to the tip. And then you do the same thing here. Alright. Now once you do that, these are going to stack like so. And then you put your pages on top of those. So let's just say you only want a 4-page book. You just take your top 2. That's it. You only want 4 pages. Take these top 2 and center them on the spine. If you take the smallest piece, add double-sided tape to the back. Go to the next piece and do the same. And then the last piece. Make sure they're all adhered. Remove the backing from the smallest piece and set it in the middle piece. Line it up best way you can. Center it. Middle to middle. Okay, remove the backing off of this piece. And then center it with the last piece. Get your bone folder. Give that a good crease. Now you have 6 flanges to attach your mini album to, right? Should look like that. Now, like I said, I'm only doing 5 pages, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flanges. I'm going to cut right butt up against that last one. Cut off that edge. So now I have 5. And throw that away. So now we're going to get our book back out. And then find the spine, and then we're going to take the backing off and center this right down the middle. And then take your bone folder and go over all of that. And we are good to go. This is how it should look. Alright. Ta-da! Book is done. Let's make our pages really quick here. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is make your pages here. And then you'll need 5 or 6 or how many ever sheets you're going to use. I have my 5 pages here. And on the 11-inch side, you're going to score at 1 inch and then 6 inches. You're going to do that for the remainder of your pages and then come back. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is fold over all your score marks. Give them a good crease. I don't know why, but I like working in an assembly line. Do everything all at once. All right. Okay, so I've already done one, just so I can make sure that I got the measurements right. So take your 5 sheets and you're going to, they're already folded, you're going to cut them down to 6 3/4. Cut all of them down to that. Make sure you have it all lined up. Cut them down to 6 3/4. So when you open it, it should look like that. So now you want to take your double-sided tape and add tape to this inside little piece here. Like so. And then you want to close it, being careful to match it up to the ends the best way that you can. I'd match the ends up first and come back and flatten out the paper, you know, in case your score lines were off or the way that you had the bone folder. So you should have a tube like so. So do that to the rest of the sheets and come back. Alright, so what you want to do now is get your book back out, and then you want to add some double-sided tape to your flanges. So I'm going to add the tape here. Don't go past the score line down there. And then you want to add, so that's going to cover this whole piece there. And then you want to add some score tape to the back side. Just on the bottom. So this is kind of open so you can have that room to slide in there. Alright, so full side on one side and then the bottom on the other side. So you slide this in like so. Give it a nice push and squeeze. So it's adhered all the way on this side, but the front you get to go all the way down a little bit further when you're doing tags and stuff. Alright, we're going to do one more. So all the way on one side. And then, oops, the bottom on the other. Squeeze that on there. Line it up. Press it down. Easy peasy. Alright, do that for the other and come back. Okay, so this is what you should have so far. You should have your 5 pages all set and ready to go. And then they should be just shy of the book. Got about 1/4 inch, see, left. And that's how your pages should be. Alright, so let's move to the other side of our school box. Okay, for this part, this is where there's going to be a tiny little folder or memorabilia holder, like an accordion folder in here. So you keep like stuff, not if pictures are in this one, you keep like report cards or little letters to get home, or stuff that you want to keep in this little accordion, or extra pictures. That'll be good for that too. So let's get these pieces cut. Alright, you need a piece of chipboard cut at 2.5 by 4. You need 2 pieces of chipboard cut at 7 by 4. And then you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock, coordinating cardstock, cut at 2 by 7. And then you'll need 1 piece cut at 4x8 of cardstock. Alright, so what we're going to do is take that piece that's 4x8 in your score board, and then what you want to do is on the 8.5, 4x8.5, sorry, on that 8.5 inch side, you want to score at a 1/2 inch all the way until you get to the end. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, so on and so forth. But you just want to score at a 1/2 inch until you get to the end. Alright, then you want to take that and do an accordion fold. So fold over the edge, back and forth. And just go over it a good crease. You will need 2 of these. I'm sorry, you'll need 2 cut at 4x8.5. And do the same thing. I already did one. Well, I didn't mention it. So, but you'll need 2. And this is the one that's the cardstock that is 4x8.5. 2, 2, 2. Alright. So, grab your scoreboard again. Get that piece that's 2x, is it 7? Yep, 2x7. There's 2 of those. Score that at 1 down the middle for both of them. Whoa. Alright. Alright, fold this over to give it a good crease, and then we're going to do the same thing, get those corners taken care of on both of those pieces. You know the drill. We're going to get our double-sided tape out. And these are going to go on the inside. So double-sided tape on the inside of both of the flanges. And give it a good crease. And let's take this piece to take the backing off. So grab the chipboard, the spine of the book, the spine, the smallest piece, and this is, what was this? 2. I remember my measurements. 2.5 by 7. Line that up to the score mark without going over, and take one of the other pieces that are left. They're both the same size, so it doesn't matter, and put that on the other side of that flange, just like that. Okay, so get the backing off the remainder flange and attach this to the other side of that little piece of chipboard. Grab the leftover piece and do the same thing. So then you should have something like this. Super cute! Alright. Take your accordion pieces, add double-sided tape to the ends. The flat end that's poking out here on one side. Turn it around. Flip it over. The flat end that's on the other side. Do the same thing. That in here. Turn it around. Flip it over. And flat end here. Everything a crease. Take one end off. Alright, so they're going to go in between here. So if you have your thing facing this way, attach this onto the end, one side of the accordion onto the end, all the way to the edge, like so. And grab the other accordion piece and do the exact same thing. All right. We're going to take the piece off from here. And then the other side. We're going to connect it. So that end piece goes flush against the end of that. Oh, let's do it this way. Maybe you can see it a little better. So that goes right in there. Score mark to edge. Just like that. Do the same thing to this side. Now this is how it should look. Now it'll fit in there, but you want to have, you know, some room for it to fan out. You can make these shorter if you want, but they were fine because, let's get the box. You have room to crunch these babies in there. Maybe we should cut a little bit out. Let's cut a little bit out. I think I might have added a little bit much. So, you can cut. Oh, scrap the world is messing up. So this is how far I wanted it to go. So we need to leave a piece for the back to lay something against. I just put my scissors in there. And then we cut across that valley. So now we're at the tape. I hope I just didn't screw up you guys' project, but that's what happens in my world. Add the tape to that back piece. And slide it in. Okay. Now we can grab our box, and that looks better. There we go. Ding! That's going to fit nicely inside of there. You can put your, you know, your little pictures and stuff on there. Now what you can do, if you're feeling special, is cut down a piece of paper. So you will cut down, which I might just do, cut down this piece of paper to 7 by 2, 2.5, 3.5, 6. Let's just do 6.5. Let's see what 6.5 looks like first. This was not part of the plan, but let's just see how it works. So cut the paper down to 7 by 6.5, and then you could score and fold over to make like a little to close it up inside. But it already has a cover on it, so it really wouldn't be necessary. You know, it has this little cover on the top, like so. So wouldn't actually be necessary, but you could do that. 7 by 6.5, and then you would score. Let's figure out the score marks for people who might want it. Now that I mentioned it, let's see. So we know we need it to be 2.5 going across. So this is the 7-inch side. So we need to, on the 6.5-inch side, we need 2.5, 2.5, 3.5. So we score at 1, then 3.5. Let's see what that brings us. You can actually, so that will fit 1 inch back there, going across. You can actually have it just like that, and put, you can make that shorter too, or make it an angle, and put magnets or something on there if you want. I might keep that, I might not. We'll see. At any rate, this was different. You do have your box, and then that goes perfectly inside here. to close. And then your mini album in the front fits in there, and you are done with your base of your school box. The only thing left to do is to put your pattern paper and your decorations on it. So hopefully this tutorial was helpful and I didn't throw you off with that accordion fiasco. So hopefully I'm going to go ahead and decorate this, and I hope it turns out cute. Well, we would know because we would have saw it in video number 1. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to please vote for me as for my submission on the Food Network. You guys know the drill. Created this super, super yummy dish. You can vote up to 5 times at the same time. So refresh, vote, refresh, vote, refresh, vote. Do that 5 times. Vote for your girl. I really would appreciate it. Like this video if you like it, and let me know what you think. It's free to push that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.